Right, it's time for us to check up the major issues that are making the headlines in the newspapers this morning. I'm sure you've heard by now that a number of arrests have been made in Kumasi with regards to the security situation, the directive given last week by the president to ensure that things become okay and that people in Kumasi feel a lot more safe than they are today. That's one issue we'll be looking at. Also, we do know that the cross-examination for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the second petitioner in the election petition case, hasn't. That Charles Chikata has given every indication that he's done with his cross-examination, with a caveat that after the audit is done by KPMG, who will have cause to come back and interrogate the numbers. We'll be taking a look at that issue as well. And also this morning, we also know that the General Overseer of the Senegal Church of All Nations, in the person of TB Joshua, has promised to compensate the bereaved families of the four that died at the Springtest Road branch of his church. We'll be taking a look at that to see is that an end in itself. But first, let's go to Kumasi, because this morning it's reported that 60 suspected criminals have been arrested by the Kumasi police in a bid to flush out criminals in the city. I'm joined on the line now by the Ashanti Regional Police PRO, ASP Mohammed Tanko. Good morning to you, Mr. Tanko, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
You're most welcome.
Right, 60 suspects arrested. How was this swoop done, and how far has this come? I mean, in the wake of all that's happened in Kumasi.
Thank you very much, and good morning to all your viewers. Last 2 weeks, there was a situation, and about 3 days ago, there was another. And when it happened 2 weeks ago, we did promise that we were going to institute security measures to ensure that any situation that was not helping the people of Kumasi would be brought under control. And measures instituted, including intensify our patrols, that is both foot and mobile patrols and 2 and 9 patrols. We also have people stationed at particular places who are working on this police accessibility and visibility program. Apart from this, we have intelligence on the, and that is the most important part of it, because it is intelligence on the ground that is feeding us with information as to which places we should swoop and which places we should set. We started these last week. We've been able to run up about 3 suspected criminals as we speak. The last one being yesterday, an exercise that we undertook at Bantuma. And what we do is, when we bring these people, we look through our dockets, invite victims of crime, especially robbery and other violent crimes. They come help us to identify the assailants. Those who are identified are given the necessary charges. Those who are not released on police inquiry will send further investigations. This is what we've been doing, and I think it has been helping so much in this direction.
Right. In the arrest that you've made so far, I want to find out from you, have the residents of Kumasi been good in giving the police enough information to also help out in making these arrests?
The people of Kumasi have been very fantastic for a very long time. They've been assisting the police with a lot of information. A lot of our successes have come by way of information that we've received from the general public. But we still believe that there are a lot of people out there who have information, who, if they open their eyes to us and if they put their ears firmly on the ground, will be able to pick things and see us what. And those people are not doing them, and some are also shelving the information from us. And we are saying that if we are able to make a lot of successes with the little people who have been helping us, then it means that if a lot more people should join the wagon, then we'll be able to make Kumasi very uncomfortable for criminals. That's why we've always come out, appeal to the people to endeavor to give us information. But I think the people of Kumasi are not doing badly so far as giving information to the police is concerned.
Right, you've put in place security measures, and we heard the president last week make it clear that one of the issues is about these criminals making use of motorbikes at night for their operations. As regards to how you're dealing with that situation, I want to find out from you, is it to say there's a ban on motorbike riding at night in Kumasi as we speak?
Yeah, we have not totally banned the use of motorbikes in Kumasi. But what we do is when you are accosted on a motorbike, we would like to know whether you have a number plate or the motorbike has a number plate, whether the papers are okay, whether the necessary road traffic regulations are supposed to satisfied. And that is what we've been doing. But we are very particular about those who ride motorbikes without number plates on them. We have a lot of them in Kumasi. We started an exercise about a month ago. We've arrested so many of them. But still, there are some out there without registration numbers. And we are not going to relent. We are going to go all out and ensure that all those are arrested and the necessary legal procedures taken against them. We are very particular about the motorbikes because our intelligence or our records indicate that most of the crimes that are perpetrated by the aid of unlicensed motorbikes. And it is important that if we want to deal with these issues, we need to deal with the motorbike ministry.
Right. ASP Tanko, finally for me, we know Kumasi is swarmed now with a lot of heavy security presence. We hear there have been a number of checkpoints also erected in the city. Is this to give, and I sincerely want to ask, should this give residents of Kumasi reason to believe that indeed everything has come to normal and the city is as safe as it used to be?
Yeah, as I told you before, we have made a promise to them that we are going to step up our efforts to ensure that Kumasi security is improved further. But we need to understand that there's no way any police institution or any security arrangement anywhere in this world can work to ensure that there is never any crime recorded within its area of jurisdiction. We need to get that clearly. But that notwithstanding, whenever any criminal activity happens, we are not happy with it, and we want to improve upon our system to ensure that we are able to avert it subsequently. In this, we can't do it alone. We need the people to, as I said earlier, we need information from they are able to give us the information. If they are able to open their eyes wide, if they are able to put their ears on the ground a little better, I think we can create the Kumasi that all won't fail.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. ASP Mohammed Tanko is the Ashanti Regional Police PRO. I also have on the line with me the PRO of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly in the person of Clement Kagari. And it comes on the heels of some news from the Kumasi mayor yesterday. He says, as part of his vision to ensure that Kumasi has low incidence of crime, they have to install CCTV cameras to check crimes. Clement Kagari joins me on the line with a lot more clarity on it. Good morning to you, Clement, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
Good morning, and let me say good morning to you too.
Right. Yesterday we heard the mayor make the point that as part of plans to check crime in the city, you have plans to procure CCTV cameras. How will that work out?
If you recall, yesterday's presentation was the maiden sessional address of the Mayor of Kumasi, Honorable Kojo Bonsu. In that particular address, he outlined several issues that he thinks fall under his vision. And one of those areas that he wants to give critical attention to is safety and security. It is his view that when the activities of criminals are closely monitored, to provide the security apparatus a platform to be able to, if you like, make an impact in combating crime within the city. You have to also bear in mind that as a mayor, he is the chairman of MESEC, that's Metro Security Council or Committee. And as a chairman of Metro Security Committee, he has all security agencies represented at that committee, including the military, the police, the DNI, and so on and so forth. So it is his view that CCTV cameras will have have to be installed within the CBD, that's Central Business District, and other flashpoints, that is other areas classified by the security apparatus as crime-prone areas. When these gadgets are installed, it will provide an avenue or a platform for the security agencies to monitor the activities of criminals and be able to clamp down on these criminal activities to provide safety and conducive marketing environment for the people of Kumasi and those who be coming into Kumasi to do business.
Right. I want to say thank you for speaking to us this morning, Clement Kagari, PRO for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Well, that's the perspective from the police and the KMA, but I'm joined in the studio by MP for North Dai, George Low. Good morning to you, George.
Good morning.
You've heard the police in Kumasi and the PRO for the KMA. Clear steps to ensure that we restore proper security in Kumasi. We've seen many incidents of shootings and robberies in recent times. Does this give you confidence that things are about to get every better?
Yeah, I think that yes, it's important that the police do whatever it takes to ensure that people feel safe. And I think that he makes the point clearly when he says that, well, nowhere in the world we do have 100% safety around, but at least people must feel safe to go about their business. And you know that Kumasi is the second, after Accra, Kumasi is the second busiest part of the country. So I think that it's important for business, it's important for people who go about their daily lives. It's also like a central hub of our nations for things to be apt and proper there. So I am happy that the police are going in there solidly to ensure that they keep or nip crime largely in the bud. Problem is that I hope that this serves as an opportunity for them to put in place long-term measures where we will not see the recurrence of this kind of boldness from armed robbers, from just lawless citizens and things like that. I think that we should, and not only in Kumasi. I think that Kumasi is not Ghana. Ghana is bigger than Kumasi, and right. I think that these things should go in all aspects of our national life, so that just as we do in other places, why not? You should feel the police without necessarily seeing them in uniform standing by you. You feel safe. You should know that when you do the wrong thing, it will be found out and the law will take its course. That is where we should drive ourselves. So this is a beginning, it's an opportunity for us. We shouldn't rest in our oars. And I hope that the IGP and his team should sit on their butts 24/7, reviewing the situation as much as possible. And of course, making changes as soon as practicable. Policemen should be deployed. These days, it's amazing when you see a policeman sitting at post at one place for 10 years. In the past, you know, policeman, you probably, by the time you are through with the service, you probably had gone around the whole nation, you know, and once you go into a new environment, you are not free with the criminals. So you are not afraid to take them on. But where you are sitting somewhere 10 years on the trot, what happens is that you become familiar with the environment and you become friends with people, and therefore your work rate is not necessarily the same. I think that the IGP and his team should bring in more sophisticated policing. I like the community policing that we are seeing, but they should take it a step further, where we see the police as our friends first and foremost, and yet we see them also as those who are there to protect us. I say that in other parts of the world, when you are in trouble, the first thing to think about is the police. In Ghana, the last place you want to go is near the police, and I think it's not good enough. A lot of public education has been done, but I think that they should sustain it, and then they should give capacity to the men on the streets, particularly the MTTU.
Right.
You are going out there, you are driving, you are minding your own business, and for some miscommunication, some policeman insults you and talks to you as though you are a criminal, and it doesn't go well for even road safety, because when you upset somebody so bad and he's on the steering wheel, you never know what may happen. I think that police should be our friends. They should politely come and ask if it's a boot that you want open, why not? It's your whatever inspection they want to do about your car, if it's your documents, they should just do it nicely in a friendly manner, and then life goes on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for the points of the police. But what about the KMA? They say they want to install closed circuit television cameras.
I am not surprised because my senior brother Kojo Buzu, is a very modern man. He probably wants to zero in quickly on these issues and deal with the trends as quickly as possible. Having said that, I think that it may not be the only solution. First and foremost, CCTV. Where?
It says in the Central Business District and some flashpoints in the metropolis.
Well, I think that for me, first of all, is the way that is monitored. Two is the way that is installed. I hope that they are not going to bring CCTVs that when I'm passing, I know that this CCTV is here and that is being monitored. We have very modern gadgets these days where you find out that it's only when an event happens that you realize that, oh, apparently there's been a camera installed here. I think that we should go for those kinds of things so that people who have criminal intent can be caught unawares. But if you put a CCTV that everybody will see that, oh, this is a CCTV, everybody sits somewhere and everybody knows, the criminals will find their way about them.
But if the CCTV camera is clear for everyone to see, it would deter even those who want to commit crime, isn't it? Why should it be hidden?
Well, it will deter some people who want to commit crime, but it will also allow people who are very sorry with these things to find a way around about them. So that when crime is going to be committed, once they know that there's CCTV, they find a way of blocking it or something before they go and commit the crime, so people get away with crime. But I'm saying that, hey, if you are a small camera installed somewhere nobody even knows, and you commit even a traffic offense, why once somebody is monitoring, they can always pick your car number and go after you. I think that if we want to do it, we should go for the best, the most current and the most sophisticated way of doing this, and then we just get on.
Right, but is this solution all in one? CCTV, KMA's approach?
No, that is not the only solution. Admittedly, I think that there are more to it than there's more to it than we can think about. But I think that it's a good start. It's a good start, and it's a good start. So we will encourage Kojobosu to. Maybe it's one of the. Is his answer to the president saying we should think outside the box. Right. Is the answer to the president saying that we should think outside the box. So maybe this is a good initiative, but I think that it's properly done so that it's not, we don't just put money away, but it has effect on crime reduction.
Is it a realistic approach to this? For me, that's the question I'm asking.
Oh, sure, it is. Sure. It is one of the very realistic approaches to these things, because like you yourself have pointed out, for many to just deter the crime. For many, it's good enough for them to know or for them to hear that, hey, Charlie, whatever you are doing, there are cameras around, he checks them. Okay? Yes. So yes. And police, major part of their job is crime prevention. So if that will prevent crime in many ways, I think that is a step in the right direction.
Right. We've been joined now by a member of the MPP communication team, John Kumasi. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, Rob.
Well, this morning we've heard the news of a number of arrests made in Kumasi, 60 to be precise, and also the KMA is thinking of procuring CCTV cameras in a bid to check crime in Kumasi. Your thoughts on these two?
Well, let me say good morning to your viewers and apologize for being late. I think it's good news that the security situation in Kumasi is not the best that we can talk of. So having heard this morning that they've been able to apprehend some of the suspected persons who are involved in these criminal activities, I think it is good news, and we believe that they will step up their game and bring security in the region under control. And I don't know how this particular issue is targeted. Maybe they are looking at the robbery and stealing aspect, but the security situation in Ashanti goes beyond that. If you go to the Manso areas, we are talking about mining and deep conflict between the native people and the Chinese illegal miners, attacking them with guns and all that. Even Obuasi areas we heard of late. And then if you come to the Achim Jasu areas, is it Agogo also, where the Fulanis are also attacking the people, raping their women and all that. So it appears that the whole of Ashanti region has come under serious security situation. and I'm happy that they are, beginning to respond positively to such issues. So it's good news. The question of CCTV, I believe it may help because of identification of persons. If we are lucky to capture them on such cameras, then it will be easier for the police to trace them. And of course, this after you do the swoop, as we have been told, they may have to do public identification parade and all that. So, but if you have CCTV camera which will assist you in identifying the people who actually committed these illegal activities on the people, then obviously it makes the job easier. So I think it's a step in the right direction, and I believe that they will up their game and restore confidence and security to the people of Ashanti region. And I think it's good news. Right.
I guess we can move on from, we can come back from Kumasi to Accra to the Supreme Court with the election petition case. Yesterday, the controversy over the pink sheet audit was laid to rest. If you missed just a sneak peek for the legal teams and their perspective after the ruling was given by the panel of judges, and also even before that, proceedings in court.
There will obviously need to be a consideration of the steps that will be appropriate for this. As many as 7 additional boxes appear to have been added. It is actually a matter bordering on criminality.
It is obvious that somebody has a sinister agenda to deprive the petitioners of the opportunity to fully put forward their case.
We came to court this morning and lodged a formal protest, as it were, and made an application to the court that, one, the control mechanism that was put in place be tightened, and secondly, the same control mechanism should be expanded, whereby 2 or so or more judges should keep records which can be compared with what KPMG is doing along the line at any time.
The court, in hearing the arguments, took the position and agreed with us that if there were any concerns at all, the right place to raise them would be at the counting with the referee and not in court. The court therefore ordered that they send their concerns there, concerns which, if necessary, should be incorporated in the report of the referee when the count is finished for the consideration of the court.
Points clearly put by the spokesperson for the 2 legal teams, that's for the petitioners and the third respondent, the NDC, Nana Todas and Gloria Kufo, plus for what happened, the proceedings in court yesterday. I'll start with you, George. We know that the third respondent, the NDC, raised the red flag 2 days ago, and yesterday a determination was made. For some, the argument has been this in a way got a lot of people a bit confused, but with this laid to rest, you have been shown well to handle these issues. Your thoughts on this?
Oh, well, I think that in the main, these things generate all the public sentiment because it's being shown on TV publicly, so people get to know some of these things and got to hear them at first hand. What it is a very simple matter. In a matter when you are conducting a matter in any case, and the information gets to you, or you find out about something that you think does not augur well for the process, or that would impede the integrity of the court, or that the other party is doing something that you think is not fair play, is not part of the fair play that is expected at a trial. You draw the judge's attention to it, and they give directions. So Mr. Chikata did exactly what every normal lawyer would do. He has information that 7 more boxes have found themselves their way into the registry, and it brings in the notice of my Lord Justices, and then after deliberation they think that, okay, since there is a referee, or since KPMG has been asked to do this job, you complain to them, bring it to their attention, and let them go and do whatever they will do. And if there is anything that needs to be said about your complaint, they should incorporate it into their reports, which they'll be bringing to the court anyway. And once they bring that to the court will know what to do. what to put on it. And I think that's how simple.
Right. John?
Yes. Some of us were very amazed when we heard the story. In fact, my initial reaction was, how? I mean, could anybody under the tight security? Because I've heard even one single pin sheet arrest in this country, where I think it was Savlugu in the north, somebody was trying to sign one pin sheet. She got arrested. So looking at the public interest in this matter, how on earth would anybody manage to carry 7 extra boxes into the court? I mean, when I heard it, I was surprised. I said, how could this be? And I was further taken aback yesterday when in the court, sometimes, this game, Dr. Justice Atuguba has described it as two fronts, the political angle and the legal angle. So some of us thought maybe they were just doing propaganda or doing politics with the process. But for them to also raise this matter in court, I was surprised, because it appeared clearly that the statements that even Mr. Chachukata made in court were not entirely accurate. For instance, he said that the NDC representative, together with the referee, conducted inventory before, I think on the Friday or the Thursday, and then when they went back the Monday, the thing had inflated by extra 7 boxes, and it was kind of a news. It was something new to the whole court, to the court, especially to the petitioners. When did such an activity happen? And I had the opportunity to listen to the KPMG spokesperson,
Joe for the senior partner,
who also came out categorically to deny that they are not party to any such inventory taking. So at what point did the NDC count the ballot boxes that were with the registry, and with which people who were there? So it appeared that the whole thing is shrouded in a certain conspiracy to undermine the whole process. So clearly, at the end of the day, I was okay when the justices said, we have already appointed a referee. If you have any concerns, just go to them, present it, and then they can put it as part of their report and present it to the court. But it appears, I mean, looking beyond all these issues, it appears that the level of suspicion, maybe from both angles, is too much, but maybe it's understandable, because it is not just legal matter, it's also political,
right.
And then maybe the NDC was just trying to play to their foot soldiers or to their constituency by telling them that in case the thing doesn't go well as we suspect, maybe certain machinations took place. But clearly, I mean, it is unthinkable that anybody could gather 7 boxes in the presence of national security at the Supreme Court, the presence of police, and even security of the Supreme Court itself. How on earth would anybody gather such courage? Even in Savlugu, with just one pink sheet, you'll be arrested. How much more at the Supreme Court premises, let alone the strong room of the Supreme Court? Clearly, I mean, the issue was blown out of proportion, and we should kind of allow the system and the process to be continued to its logical conclusion.
Right. Today, the cross-examination continues, and I know for Dr. Baumia, he's had his day in the witness box. He's done, isn't it?
Oh yes, for now.
For now. Yes, after the audit is done, he will be asked to come back and answer some questions.
Well, if it becomes necessary.
If it becomes necessary. So, today, we expect... Okay, I nearly said the name that was blessed at the Supreme Court. The General Secretary of the NDC in the box.
No.
Well, that is if the NPP will waive their right to do their re-examination.
Okay. So after the re-examination, we are expecting...
If they so wish to re-examine.
Okay.
It's not by force. I mean, if you have nothing to re-examine,
just leave it.
Yeah, you could.
Right. So certainly we'll be monitoring the events as they happen in the Supreme Court. But there's a story here. There's a story John is actually covered on the chief of Goso, who's unhappy about the turn of events with the road construction in his area. He says for the trucks and machines that have come into his town that are doing nothing on his roads, they should get out. Here is the story for you if you missed it.
Nana Bosompra made the call when a delegation from the Ministry of Roads and Highways, led by the Sector Minister Alhaji Amindu Suleimani, Ghana Highway Authority, Urban Roads and Feeder Roads paid courtesy call on him. The Highways maintenance team, according to him, have just littered his town with equipment, causing nuisance for no work done.
Your maintenance team, goes to how I have for her. How is it for machines I can see a guha? Baby, no make us or my peba or modakeke. And none or modawa. Cars is Sisiakeke. Intimestro, Miss Okoya, Minimsen, Menuman Chakra, or Messes a cast in and Franco. I mean, who's a mini maintenance team be our hat. Na kwano esena me kan ma hu se de meka no e se kasa kasiesi ya kasa timi ya kwan kasa timi ya de ani nyina guga enya hwe enti se wo kwa kan kwan sem a obi a wo ha we sifo gu kromo ka ye tukoba hu tu ahin na koba enti ende e besre no se wo sore sesi ya onko hwe kasa gu ho no no a won hwe se kasa adwuma be na ye entumi nkoma afiri akọ Nani a Ghana baby ever corner to me a quania. Edan ya manko bolga mekowa. Edan ya mekota male hobby. Edan ya takra de kroy baby a meko. Say nanu ye frin kana buy. En kran kwanya. Say Ghana na enye.
In response to the chief's accusation, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Highway Authority, Michael Abbey, said the Goso Mahini's assertion is not true. He explained that work at Goso has come to a standstill due to lack of funds.
The mobile maintenance unit is a wing of Ghana Highway Authority, and they depend on government funding to operate, to buy fuel, cement, other materials they will need for construction. So once you have government funding delaying, they will have nothing done to stop work or slow down and wait until funds come in, then they will continue their work.
So what the Mahine is saying is not entirely...
It's not entirely true that they are there doing nothing. It's because we have delayed in remitting them the funds they need to work. So once we get them the funds, they go back to work.
Right, so that's the story for you, George. Tough words from the chief. Essentially, what he was saying is that there's a mobile maintenance team from the Ghana Highway Authority that has a lot of the equipment in the town, but they don't see a lot of work on their roads. And so his point is, if you're not doing anything in my town, you might as well pack up and leave.
Well, first and foremost, it's interesting what the chief says, and you can see a lot of frustration the way he says it. But you see, first and foremost, chiefs must begin to understand their role. Yes, you are the traditional overlord of a place. It doesn't give you power to be throwing people in and out of your place. In today's democracy, chiefs cannot just get there and say, if your car is not doing anything, let it leave my town. Please, I mean, I think that chiefs should rise up to that enlightenment. That you clearly cannot usurp certain powers and act as though you are the Lord that commands all. You know, they have their role to play, very important role, particularly with the bringing the unity of the people and things like that traditionally. But you know, the way he went about it for me was a bit too far. You know, if the minister comes and you have genuine concerns why you think your road is not being fast-tracked, that is not the way to put it. The way to put it is wanting to find out why these things are not done, and then like the engineer, the chief executive of highway explained, then you get your explanation, and then between the two of you, you find a common ground how to progress. I think that he's even lucky to have equipment close to his place, so that one day when money comes, quickly they'll do something. There are other people who just want to see the equipment so that they have hope, because look, the national cake is just so much. You get bits and pieces of it as and when it's available. You know, I have road issues in my constituency every day. I'm running around the ministries, but I also know that funding is a problem. You know, so you are praying that when funds are available, you know, you get some attention. So I'll plead with the God to and all others that look, it is our taxes, and if you are lucky, the donor funds that we get that we use to do development. If we are not being able to raise enough tax, some parts will get at a point, others will get later on. And we should be mindful of the way we handle these things. Because yes, we have a right to demand. But even the way you demand, government is our father. Even the way you demand from your father at home is structured. Even though he's your father and he must look after you. You don't go telling your father, Master, if you won't give me chop money, then get out of my house. Or, it's not done. I think that the chief has a point, but it should be more engaging. It should be more interactive, finding solutions to the problems around Gosu and its environs. And I think that should be the way to go for all of us. We all have needs, and I don't think that in where you come from, you think that all the problems have been solved. I don't think that where John comes from, he thinks all the problems have been solved. No one government has come and solved the problems overnight. I believe that people should have patience, and that gradually, it's a national cake we are getting. You may get a piece. If he hasn't gotten road, maybe he had gotten a school. If you go out there, maybe other things are happening. Like I'm saying, when you see the shot, see that even roads are being constructed, gutters and things like that. And it's a starting point. There are other people who haven't seen anything at all. So please, I think that the chief should, be more patient. And I think that, yes, he's a chief, we respect him. But, respect is mutual. If the way he's spoken, if they want to react in that manner, it will create chaos.
Right.
So he's a father figure, and we plead with him to exercise and actually to express things in a fatherly manner, so that those who must listen will listen and consideration will be given.
John.
Yes, I think Honorable George has spoken it, but I agree with the position that even if you have a point, you should still present it in such a way that you don't offend the people you are seeking to. Apparently, clearly the chief has an issue. He has a problem. And I'm not sure when he says that they should come and carry the machines, he's really meaning that they should come and carry the machines. I believe that, our chiefs and our elders normally speak in parables. And you could sense, what I get out of the whole thing is a sense of frustration. That the expectation of the people, maybe even before the machines got there, the sword cutting and everything was shrouded in this huge public hope and expectation that something was going to be done immediately for the people. And maybe, like you could see from the picture, something have started, and all of a sudden the project is abandoned. Like the contractor was saying, there's no money, lack of funds and all that, and we don't know how long. And you see, these roads, once you take off the surface and then you stop the project, then you shouldn't have started in the first place, because you expose the community to dust when the sun shines, and to mud when it rains, and to so many things. And it appears it's not a big town, it's a village, and you can imagine all these bulldozers and all these earth machines there. So clearly you could feel the frustration from the chief's tone. He's not saying they should come and remove it, but maybe he wants to put pressure on whoever is the authority in charge of these things, so that wherever the money is locked, it will be released for the job to be done, and to be done on time. You see, sometimes it is frustrating when you know that this is your usual path, and then because they are constructing the road, they will block certain areas which used to be your usual routine, and now you have to go through certain inconveniences. We all go through every day, and sometimes it's frustrating. But I agree with Honorable when he says that even in your frustration, you must still present your case well, so that you don't also offend the people who are trying to help. Because at the end of the day, like he said, even if it's your father and you are demanding from him, you still have to show certain level of decorum and respect. So he's a chief, and he's talking to government. I think they are both authorities, and maybe authority, a lord can afford to talk to another lord that way. So maybe we should permit him, because he's also a lord in his traditional area, so we should allow him in his choice of language. But except to agree with the chief that he is going through frustration, maybe the people are suffering from dust, and now that it's raining, the place will be muddy and all that. So whoever is in charge of the funding should try to release the funds for the people to see development in the area.
Right.
That is, I think, the point the chief
we made. Okay. I just want us to briefly touch on these two issues. They are pretty small, but equally important. The domestic violence and victim support unit of the police service have said they will investigate reports of forced marriage of a 13-year-old girl to a 25-year-old man. Now, the 13-year-old girl was forced to marry the man after her 18-year-old sister ran away on the day of the marriage. Now, the 25-year-old told journeys he will leave the young girl after a week to enable the 13-year-old girl further her education. But the twist now is that the 18-year-old girl is back, and she's claiming that she wants the husband back. Those who have already stepped up in investigations. But George, listen to something like this.
Where is this?
How does it come across to you?
When I heard it in the morning on Joy News, and Joy News treated it on a lighter side, because it was like, for them it was like some sensational stuff.
It was a matter of come back to me.
Yes, sort of. But you see, when you listen to the 13-year-old girl, I felt very emotional when I listened to her. It says the only reason why she agreed to do the marriage, or that she opted to do the marriage, was that she thought that the sister had virtually disgraced the family. Because she had agreed to the marriage, everybody had come, all the people were waiting, everything was ready, and then she eloped.
But the bit about the 13-year-old girl giving herself up for marriage is serious.
Yes, the 13-year-old girl giving herself up for marriage. I don't have all the facts, because I don't know if we're just a betrothal or that it's real marriage, that you are going to live with a man. Because I also heard the part that they said that they will allow her to go and finish school.
No, you see, the 25-year-old man, he travels outside the country to Libya to go find some money and come back home. From the interview you had with him, he could go for 3-4 years and come back home. But the thing is, he wants to be married. He should be assured of a wife to come home to when he returns. So he will marry this lady, go and come back in those 3 years, come and take her away. But once you're married to someone, what does it mean?
It means you are married to
you have access to all the things you can think of.
Well, that's but I think that under the law it is totally, if a 13-year-old girl has, no parent has a right to give their 13-year-old girl in marriage. That's why I'm saying that. What was the terms? Was it that, well, we are keeping the girl for you, you go to your Libya?
No.
Well.
Because they're living. Okay, that's what I'm following the story. Okay. They're living in one house as we speak, as husband and wife.
Oh, that one, I think that then it is totally against the law, because even when a girl willingly allows you to sleep with her at age 15 is defilement. So really, I think that this has gone a bit too far. If the understanding was like they do in the Arab world, that sometimes once you are giving birth to, they say, okay, you are betrothed to somebody. When you are of age, you could go, now they will come and take you to the man. That would have been different. But if it is like legal marriage,
legal,
that one, the law doesn't allow.
What about the bit of the come back to me? The elder sister come back.
Well, it is for the man to decide. At this point, it's for the man to decide, because if you've eloped, it means that the marriage ceremony has not been completed with you. So there's no marriage to start with. So if she's coming back and the man thinks I still want her, fine. If the man thinks that no, I still don't want her, then she has to go and look for another person.
John,
it is very interesting, and I can't believe these things happen. Which area? In fact, I don't have the facts.
This is here in Accra, Ablekuma.
Can't believe that in the capital city. I can't believe that. First of all, the issue of age. I think the Children's Act clearly limits the marriage age in this country to 18 years. If you are not a child of 18, and even 18, it has to be with the consent. In fact, if you are not 21 years and above, you cannot marry in this country by your own consent. You need consent of your parents and the family. And even if you are 18, where the Children's Act allows you to marry with consent of your parents, then we can consider it. But if you are 13 years, clearly I cannot believe such a thing is happening in this country. And even if their custom allows it, the municipal laws of this country does not allow anybody to marry a child of 13 years. And like Honorable said, even if you are 16, if you sleep with a girl of 16 years with her consent, you have still committed a crime.
Because she doesn't have consent to give in.
No, she hasn't got consent.
If she's 16, it's okay. But if she's below 16,
she has no consent.
She has no sexual consent to give. So if you sleep with such a girl, even if she lies down and says sleep with me, you are committing a crime. So clearly, there's a problem with that.
Right, and thankfully, DOFSO is investigating the issue.
Yes.
So we should see some closure on it. Quick one on the stampede at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. We hear the General Overseer TB Joshua has vowed to compensate the bereaved families, the 4 persons who died. Your brief thoughts on it, then we'll wrap the show.
First of all, I think that the police, from what I heard, says that so far they haven't seen or come to anything that borders on criminality, so they are not ready to arrest yet and do any prosecution. That is one. If TB Joshua wants to compensate, of course, it happened in his premises. So if he wants to compensate, that is good news, at least, so that it is not a loss. At least when you're in hospital and your bills can be picked up, that's good enough. If other members of the family can be looked after to account for the loss of a member, I think that, well, it's not the best, but it is not the worst. Having said that, I think it's great signal to all of us as Ghanaians to begin to do an introspection and look at how we do this our worship thing. I don't see why you should go to a church and go and struggle for some water. Why? If you are 3,000 and the water is enough for everybody, you will get. If you don't get today, you may get tomorrow. I mean, there's no need for. We are struggling for everything, and it's amazing sometimes when you go to a dinner dance or you go to a dinner or you are invited to a function. They said food is served. You can see that this food, even if 1,000 people come to add, everybody will get served, and yet you see people struggling. We struggle for everything. Why? I think that we should start looking at the way we conduct ourselves. Right. Yeah, it's very important.
Well, yes, I agree. And issues of faith are critical issues that you must be careful when you are commenting about. First of all, I've also heard the police who says that for now in their investigations, they have not been able to come to the conclusion of any deliberate intentions on the part of the church to cause the death of these people. So we cannot conclude about the criminal, but well, it's still under investigation, so we cannot have any conclusions on that. It is, you see, in the midst of such calamity, I think it is welcoming news for especially the families of these people to hear that the church has taken upon itself to come to their aid. Obviously, I don't think TB Joshua can buy the lives of the people who lost their lives, but at least he's showing concern to the family and expressing remorse on behalf of the church for whatever happened there. It is very unfortunate. It could have happened to anybody. Maybe the lessons we should also, and especially the big churches like TB Joshua and the rest, when they are organizing their programs, must find bigger venues to organize these programs. And having known maybe our style of, like Honorable is saying, we rush for everything, especially when we know it is free. People want to rush for it. When we want to do such things, even if it is not free or even if it is free, we should adopt a better mode of procedure in terms of sharing, so that people don't have to come and rush for it. Maybe if they had been a bit discreet about it in terms of those how the water was distributed, if they had come out with a modality that even sit on your table, wherever you are, sit on your chair, the water will reach you, I'm not sure people will be rushing for it. So we have to go into all that, and then the lessons that we need to learn from it. Today it's a synagogue church. It could be another church tomorrow if we don't learn the lessons. So I pray that may the Lord keep the souls of the loved ones that we lost, and I pray that some of these bad incidents which are preventable do not happen to us as a nation again.
Right, a good prayer from a man who was almost sound like a man of God this morning, Pastor. John Kuma is a member of the MPP's communication team. Thanks for joining us this morning. And also MP for North Dai, George Lowe, was my guest. These two gentlemen were my guests in the studio. I'll come back with Mama V and wrap up the show for this morning.